Today we're going to begin with our beginning sounds, thinking about the sound at the beginning of each word. Let's look at number 7. Choose the word that has the same beginning sound as think. Think. Your job is to look at the beginning sound for each option. Answer C has the same beginning sound as think. Number 8 says, which word has the same beginning sound as shine? Shine. You should select answer B, shows. Go ahead and check your. All right, now we will go to the right, thinking about ending sounds, thinking about the sound that is at the end of a word. Number 9, which word has the same ending sound as sink? Sink. You should have selected a cook. Number 10, which word has the same ending sound as milk? Milk. You should have selected a fake. They both end with k. Now let's go over our vowel sounds, looking at our third box for vowel sounds. Circle the answer that has the same vowel sound as the underlined word. Number 11, the word is ice. Think about the shape your mouth is making. Ice. Then you're going to read each word and think about the same vowel sound. Mine, igloo, cube. Ice and mine both say I. The vowel says I. Go to number 12. Do. Your job is to think about the shape your mouth is making. Do. 1 cup. Who. Do and who make ooh. Notice the letters do not match, but we're not matching letters on IREAD. We are matching sounds. Do and who both say ooh. Great job. Let's go on to our last box. Read the sentence. Choose the word that fits into both sentences correctly. When I do it, I read it with the word blank. Then I put in each word to see which word makes sense in both. To make the car go, you have to blank it. The blank knocked down a tree in the storm. To make the car go, you have to push it. That makes sense. The push knocked down a tree in the storm. That does not make sense. So I don't think it's A. Remember, on IREAD, we want to choose our best answer. Next is wind or wind. To make the car go, you have to wind it, to twist it. The wind knocked down a tree in the storm. That makes sense for both. Let's check with answer C just to be sure. To make the car go, you have to breeze it. The breeze knocked down a tree in the storm. That does not make sense in the first blank. So our best option is wind or wind. That makes sense in both. Great job, third grade. I want you to click on slide number 3, please. On slide number 3, we have our first text that we are going to explore today. On slide number 4 are the questions that go with our text on slide number 3. Today, we're going to practice attacking the questions as we search for evidence in the text. Your first job is to read slide number 3. You have 1 quiet minute to read the text. Ready, go. Okay, we have now read slide 3. On slide 4, we are going to look for evidence with the highlight tool that matches the question. On slide number 4, we have our first question is blue. Get your highlight tool to blue and be ready to look for evidence in our text. Our first question says, who study the Earth's features? Features are things about the Earth. So who study things about the Earth? Notice how I'm boxing my question word. I know that I'm looking for a person or a group of people because my question word is who. Who what? Who studies? Our verb tells us what to look for. Study what? Things about the Earth. We're going to look in the text for these clues, and we're going to highlight evidence together. Take your blue highlight tool and go back to slide number 3. With my mouse or finger, I'm going to look through each word in the text. I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm going to look for clues. I'm looking for a person or group of people who study the Earth's features. They study things about the Earth. So I'm going to start at the beginning. I'm looking for those clue words. You are looking with me right now as we look through each word in the text. Looking for the word study, or a person or a group of people. All right, Kaylee says she found something. So Kaylee, help me out. What did you find in our text that can help us answer who studies about the Earth?
It's exactly this who study the futures of the Earth can drew into the ice and look at the passing patterns.
Amazing. Thank you, Kaylee. So Kaylee read out some evidence. And we're going to highlight that together. So right here, she found the word study and features. Notice how those 2 words are in our question. Who studies features of the Earth? So she found those words. After she found those words, she backed up and she read the whole sentence to see if it answers our question of who studies the Earth. So let's go back and read our whole sentence. Geologists or scientists who study the features of the Earth can drill into the ice and look at the patterns. Notice how those words match our question. Who study the features of the Earth? Those are the same words we found in our clues. So who is the person or the people who study features of the Earth? Our text says they are called geologists or scientists. When you take IREAD, the answers will be in the text. You will go back to the text and look for the answer. That's why we call it looking for evidence. After you find your evidence, you can click your correct answer. Right now, you should have your blue evidence highlighted. Geologists or scientists are who study the features of the earth. Our text told us the answer. Kaylee was the first one to find that evidence. And now you don't have to guess. You know the answer because the text told you. Great job. Check that you have your evidence highlighted on slide number 3. That matches mine. And let's look at our next question on slide number 4. Slide number 4, our next question is yellow. So I'm going to change my color to yellow. My question word is no longer who. My question word is what. I'm not looking for a person or people because my question word is not who, it's what. So what do we need to look for in the text? Let's go find some clues in our question. What glacial change has happened recently? So what's our question say? What change has happened recently? Using our yellow highlight tool, we're going to look for the changes that have happened recently. That means it wasn't that long ago. So get your yellow highlight ready. And we're going to go look in the text for the answer. Something about a change to the glaciers that happened recently. We're going to look for an example of that. So again, I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to take my finger. My eyes are going to look at every word starting at the beginning. I'm going to look for those words about a change with the glaciers recently. Let's go find that evidence together. Taking your yellow highlight, go look for evidence about a change that has happened. All right, Honesty, share out. What did you find in our text? What evidence did you find? Okay. So Honesty is reading. She found some words. She found the word recent. She found the word change right here. So just like Kaylee did, Honesty went to the text and she found some words that matched. And then Honesty backed up and she read a couple of sentences to see if that evidence answers her question. Sometimes you might find the word, then you read the sentence, but it doesn't answer the question. Let's read it to see, does it answer about what change has happened recently? I'm going to back up. Scientists also measure glacial mass to watch for climate changes. Okay, so I know it's talking about glaciers. In recent years, glaciers have been melting at a fast rate. So the text told me that scientists are checking to watch for a change. And in recent time, glaciers have been melting at a fast rate. So what type of change? Our question said, what change has happened? The text just told me. In recent years, glaciers have been melting. When you read a question, you don't have to guess the answer. You don't have to know the answer. You have to go find the answer. That is what IREAD is all about. You have to go look in the text, find your evidence, and say, now I know it. Glaciers have been melting. So if I'm a third grader taking IREAD, I just found my evidence, and now I'm going to click my answer that matches the evidence. All right, great work. Let's go to our next question. Go to slide number 4. Slide number 4, our next question is red. I'm going to box my question word. My question word says where. Where tells me I'm looking for a place, a location, some sort of area, right? I'm not talking about people anymore. Not looking for a what word, looking for a place of some kind. Where what? Where do apples come from? No, look at the question for clues. Where do what?
99% of
Glaciers form. Form means where are they made? So even this number right here is a big fat clue. If it's asking you about a percentage, it's going to say the percentage in the text. So we can look for that fat clue of a number, or we could also look for a part where it talks about how glaciers are made, how they form. So get your highlight ready. I've got my highlight tool ready, and I'm going to go look through the text. I'm looking for a part about how they form, how they're made, or where that percentage is. Landon, what have you found?
I found it says on the text, and I can't see it. And what is this word?
Estimated.
And estimated 99% of them form over the ocean and polar areas, but some glaciers also form in mountain ranges on very high mountains.
Good. So check it out. Here's that 99% clue. That 99% clue was something that drew our eyes. If the question asks about a number, you can go find that number pretty quickly. Okay? Then our question said, where do they form? I noticed that word when Landon read his evidence. It said the same word. Glaciers form. What's our question word? Where? Where do they form? So let's see if our evidence answers it. 99% of glaciers form over the ocean and polar areas. Where do they form? Over the ocean and polar areas. We talked about polar climates, how they are cold. Glaciers are big things of ice, and they form on the ocean in polar regions, polar climates. So now we know the answer. We just went and we found it. I did not know this until right now. When you are asked a question on IREAD, you might think, I don't know. Well, guess what? Go find it in the text. They're going to tell you all of the answers in the text. They will put all of the correct answers in the text. You just have to be the one who says, I'm going to go find those answers. I'm going to go look for evidence, and I'm going to circle it. And now I know which answer to select. Great job. We are going to do purple, green, and orange in a breakout room. Your direction is to do purple, green, and orange in your breakout room. I want you to attack the question like we do, highlight your evidence like we do, and be ready to share out your purple answer, your green answer, and your orange answer. Get your purple ready to go attack your question and ready for highlighting evidence. You have had some time to look for purple evidence on your own. Let's attack this question together. Why is our question word. When you ask a why question, you look for a reason, an explanation. Why what? Why are cows in the field? No, look at your question. Why what? Why are glaciers long lasting? Why do they last so long? Once they form, they last a long time. Our question is why? Going back to our text, we need to take our purple evidence and we need to look for it. Here we have some information. It says glaciers can remain for centuries or hundreds of years. It did not say that they last so long, but this text evidence used different words that mean the same thing. When something lasts so long, it can be there for hundreds of years. Sometimes you have to connect those ideas in your head. Our masks are on and we're listening to instruction. Thank you. If they last for hundreds of years, our question word is why? I'm going to back up and read the whole sentence to see, does it give a reason why they last so long? I'm going to back up from my purple evidence and read the whole sentence. Because the areas stay so cold, the base of each glacier can remain for centuries or hundreds of years. My question word said why? My text says because the area stays so cold. Notice how it doesn't say the word why in the text. It gives a reason. It said the word because. Why do glaciers last so long? Because the polar region stays so cold. The bottom of each glacier can last a long time. We just found our purple evidence. Highlight your purple evidence. And now it's time to look for green in the text. Our green question word says how. How, I'm looking for a way, a description. I'm not looking for a person, I'm not looking for a place, I'm not looking for a reason. How, I'm looking for a way, a description. How what? How do I style my hair each day? No, look for the clues. How what? How do scientists, how do they what? Watch, your verb tells you what to look for. How do they watch for, I heard it, climate change. Look at all these clue words. Gloria, look at these clue words. Go look for these words in the text. Scientists are watching for climate changes. Our question word says, how do they do that? How do they do that? We are in instruction. Body should be sitting down, focused on the text. Take your green highlight and go look in the text. How do scientists watch for climate change? So I'm taking my green highlight and I'm looking. I remember we had read something earlier about climate change. I'm going to highlight it also with green. And I'm going to read around this area to see, does this evidence tell me how scientists watch? I'm going to read my yellow evidence to see if it matches. Scientists also measure glacial mass to watch for climate change. Oh, it said the word watch. Okay. In recent years, glaciers have been melting at a fast rate. Oh, that's right. I remember that part. But it didn't tell me how the scientists watch for it. Okay, so let me back up a little bit. I'm going to back up and read and see if it tells me how. Okay, it says scientists can learn a lot from these glaciers. Geologists or scientists who study the features of the Earth can drill into the ice and look at patterns. By looking at the patterns of the ice each year, they can tell how long that glacier has existed and where the glacier has traveled. Okay, so I just heard a way that scientists are looking at the glaciers. Remember, our question says how. I just heard a way. They told me a way that scientists do that. It says they drill into the ice. So they have a big drill, they drill into the ice and they look at patterns. Okay, so then they can tell how long that glacier has been there and where the glacier has traveled in the ocean. I think this is my best evidence for how scientists look for changes. It talked about them watching for climate changes, and the way is that they drill into the ice. That's a tricky one. This was a tricky question, but you have to look for your best evidence when you take IREAD. Let's do one more together. Orange. My question word is when. I bet a lot of you got this one. When. We're looking for a time, a date, a season. When what? When do geologists drill into the ice? Oh my goodness, we were just at that part. Notice how our questions sometimes go together. If you find one piece of evidence, it might help you later. That's why it's so important that on IREAD, you go find your evidence because it will help you with other questions. Okay, I just learned that they drill into the ice, but my question says when. Now I can take my orange highlight and look for when. Let's go do that. Go to our text. Okay, it says they drill into the ice and look at patterns. Oh, this is a hard one. What does it talk about? Does it talk about when they do that? It says they drill into the ice, and we're looking for when. Drill into the ice and look at the patterns. By looking at the patterns of ice each year, oh, I heard a time word. I heard year. I heard year. So right here it says each year. They drill into the ice and look at patterns. By looking at the patterns of ice each year, that's a time word. Remember our question word said, when do they do that? They can tell how long the glacier has existed and where the glacier has traveled. I think the phrase each year is our best evidence so far. If I'm a third grader taking IREAD, now I look at my answers and I see, am I correct? Did I find the correct evidence? Great job, third grade. Check that your evidence is correct and updated like mine, and then we'll talk about your independent task for today. Awesome job. On slide number 5 is where your work starts today. You have a fiction story called Snow Adventures with Grandpa. Your questions for this text are on the next slide, on slide number 6. 5 and 6 go together. Just like we did, you are going to attack the questions and go find your evidence. I should see slide number 5 looking just like this. You should have all of the colors of evidence on slide number 5. When you are done with 5 and 6, you have some other skills to practice. 7 through 10 has smaller texts. It'll say question 1 and then give you some options for you to select. You're going to do all of the questions on these pages. It's just a smaller portion of text for you to read. So you have one main text on slide 5 with questions to highlight evidence. Then you have short little questions to practice on slides 7, 8, 9, and 10. Notice I see some colors here. You might be able to go back and highlight evidence for these questions. That is your independent task today. It's now time for your break time. You can take a 10-minute break, and then from 10 to 10:30, you're working on your reading skills, getting ready for IREAD. Then at 10:30, I will be on for math.